Just turned it on.
Somebody wrote it as your meeting started. She's talking. We just can't.
Yeah. Excuse me. Is the meeting in progress? And if so, could you take yourself off mute so we can hear it, please?
Sorry.
I sent a message 10 minutes ago. I wasn't sure what's up.
Let's see the chat. It's there.
Yeah, it's hard to run the technology and the meeting simultaneously. Many apologies.
And I would ask if anybody who is zooming in, please show their live picture other than just their name, their letters. We'd actually like to see who we're actually talking to. Thank you.
Show your something. You were talking. I didn't hear what he said. Show your something.
Can you show your face?
This is me.
Show
And
your face.
Yeah. So just so that we can see you as a person versus a picture or a set of letters.
Muted us.
Okay.
Go
ahead.
The administrative coordinator position is the assistant town clerk, plus some assistance to the listers with administrative things like downloading homestead and that sort of thing. Don Oliver came on last Thursday and he's here today.
Okay, great.
Nice.
And our fund accounting specialist?
Melissa Dayton met with Becky Condon, who will be contracted for the hours needed to adjust the budget and the fund accounts so that they are properly accounted for, and then she will do our monthly reconciliation, and so that'll be about 2 hours a month probably when we get to that.
Okay.
We'll probably have maybe 10 or 12 in the next month. So.
Sounds good.
And then?
Where is John Disco?
Right there, the red.
Yeah, I'm going to take a vacation after the next select board meeting from the 9th to the 12th, and the hours will be reduced somewhat that week, only 3 sort of 4-hour days. Town hall day.
Just make sure it's all posted on the website and on Front Porch Forum, please.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to 3 Point Sun East solar proposal.
This was citizen requested item, so I have nothing. So I guess it could work with public comment with us.
Okay, if we're going to go from here to public comment, we're just asking you to sit here so you can be part of this scene, so we can have this part, so you're actually talking to the select board. So,
and
is there anybody here for public comment?
No.
I'm here for public comment.
Okay. If we have a multiple, I just want to make sure that we kind of set a timer so that it's not kind of an endless thing. Because again, we have 10 minutes allotted for public comment. I just want to make sure everybody has equal time. So do we, how many, we know that Mendel wants to
And if we need to extend it, we can do that too.
Yeah, we can do that too, but.
Yes, go ahead, sir. And your name and your address at least?
Talking to me, just making sure.
Yep.
Great. Hi, my name is Landell Cochran. I live at 1121 Main Road in Huntington. I've been serving on the Huntington Select Board since 2018, and I'm currently running for Senate in our district. So I just wanted to take an opportunity to introduce myself. I apologize that I'm not able to make it down to see you folks in person this evening. I have my own select board meeting at 7 and a BCA meeting at 6:30 before it, so I couldn't make it tonight. I apologize. But I saw what was coming towards us here with the bills that came out of the House this year, out of the General Assembly, excuse me. I saw the veto overrides written on the wall, and I was really worried about where we were headed as a state. So I put my name in to run. Sure enough, the governor was steamrolled here. beginning of last week, and we are where I thought we would be, which is a pretty scary place thinking about what's going to happen next year. I'm 36, I have a 2-year-old daughter, and I'm very concerned with keeping Vermont an affordable place to live. So if these things sound like issues that are important to you, please check out my website, landelvt.com, LANDELVT.com. And all my contact info is on there. I'd love to hear from you and start a conversation about where we can go from here. So I am going to be on the Republican ballot on October 13th. If you haven't decided which one you're going to pick up yet, I'd encourage you to take a Republican ballot and check my box. And please do reach out. I'd love to speak with people, love to meet people and understand where are you coming from, what are your concerns. What the legislature said after they steamrolled the governor was that we did a great job addressing the concerns of Vermont families this year. I don't think that's accurate, but I want to hear from you. What are your concerns? And did what we hear from the legislature as they vetoed 6 bills in one day and set a new record, is that really what you're looking for? So thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, it's public comment
It's public
time, so.
comment. Yeah. Thank you. Anybody else here for public comment? Sharon, could you?
Can you come sit over here, please? Just so that. Thanks.
Great, thank you.
Okay, so a couple of things. I wanted to point out that last meeting, it's in the minutes, and I had talked to Maggie about correcting this. She has it as Teresa stated, that the energy plan was voted on by town voters. That's actually incorrect. It was Howard that stated that, and the town did not vote on that. The town, there was no townwide vote on that energy plan. It was only voted on by the PC and the select board.
The PC, is that the public utilities?
No, that's the planning commission.
Planning commission.
Okay. thank
So I
you.
have all the minutes
Okay,
from 2018.
okay,
It was never put out for a public vote.
okay.
Okay, just want to make that clear. And then I have a couple of comments to make about the town plan. This is from the select board handbook. The first step in a municipal planning process. It's a statement of policy that will guide municipal decision-making with regard to many elements, including transportation, land use, utility infrastructure, energy, housing, and conservation. And it will also aid the private sector as a predictor of how local government will act. So as far as we as citizens being able to depend on that town plan, you know, we would expect that we would be able to have trust that the town plan would be followed, you know. So, especially in a situation like this. Then the other part is on the municipal planning and zoning. They state here that it is to encourage citizen participation at all levels of the planning process and to assure that decisions shall be made at the most local level possible, commensurate with their impact. Okay, and then transparency and disclosure. Violations of the public trust are most likely to occur when the transparency of local government is obscured. One of the best methods to effect transparency is to create an environment in which the full and frank disclosure of conflicts of interest is supported and encouraged. And then it also says here that in Chapter 1, Article 7 of the Vermont Constitution, it ensures that government be operated for the benefit of all the people and not for the advantage of a single person, family, or group. So that's all I have right now.
Thank you.
John?
Do I understand you correctly, this was first proposed in 2018?
Well, that's what we've been told, but there's no record of it being proposed anywhere, and that's a curious thing to everybody because there's no record in any minutes that they met with anybody at the planning commission, the select board. There's nothing in any minutes from that year, the year before, or the year after that anybody met with these solar people about the 2018 plan.
for 6 years that this has been going on and the town doesn't know anything about it?
Well, I don't know if they did, but we didn't.
What are you saying, Sheena?
I'm just saying, we don't know how this all came about. It just, you know, the ball got dropped in everybody's lap and nobody had ever heard of it before.
Well,
So when's the first time, excuse me, I don't mean to interrupt, but I'd like to know when was the first time any of this was disclosed?
March
Of what year?
of this year. It was at the DRB Planning Commission meeting when the first presentation by 3 Point was made to the DRB Planning Commission. That was in March, and that was the first time anybody had ever
So
heard of it.
over 5 years, this has been going on and nobody, none of the public has been informed about it.
Not that I know of.
Wait, my question,
Okay, well,
hang on,
you know,
I just have a question.
Again, just so we don't get out of hand here, we're letting some sidebar talking and stuff. It's gotta be that one person talks at a time. I can't have people shouting out back and forth. If you wanna like add an opinion or add something to the conversation, we're more than welcome to let you have this conversation, your chance to speak. But if you kind of like raise your hand and other than say, hey, this, you know, because then we're just.
It's gonna get out of control.
Yeah.
I have a question though, before, and I wanna hear your question, but so. We heard about this Viridis project, you're saying for the first time in March. Yes,
Yeah.
okay,
People on the DRB had never heard of it either.
okay, and so, and that, can you connect that to me with what 2018 that you're talking about? Because I didn't make that connection.
What, Mr. McCormick?
Well, it's okay.
No, it's fine, I just wanna make sure that I understand what it
Project
is.
map 2018. This was the presentation that they made in March. There's the project map that they said happened in 2018, which we can find no record of in any minutes. And here's the new project map in 2024. Okay,
Okay,
this was
thank you.
over on 22A.
When was the last time the select board? When was the first time you thought the select board?
I don't think that's the problem. I think she's just saying Verizon is claiming that they presented something in 2018 and there's no evidence that the town was presented with anything in 2018. They have revised their plan since then, probably because they knew it would never pass, but.
Whatever.
Because we've
We
also-
can't
That's-
control what Verizon says has happened in the world, we can only tell you what we've seen in the world.
So I would, being again, both of us being here an extended period of time, I'm almost 9 years, I think you're at 8 years, Zach's like 8.5. This is the, other than this spring, when I first heard it here, that's the first time I've
Right.
heard of that, so it's like, you know.
Okay,
Yes, Mr. Biscup?
okay, we're gonna have you switch places with Sharon, please.
I don't need to,
You do because no one can hear you.
They can't hear you because of this, sorry, you need to be near the mic.
well, just a short question.
That's okay, thank you, I appreciate you moving.
Most people usually hear me quite well, I can't hear them, but they hear me. Anyway, I just want to know how this got revised. And it was since 2018, and why there hasn't been any public notice. They revote, for some reason, I just heard that this map has been revised and the proposal has been revised. There's a lot of things that I don't think the public's aware of here, and for something of this magnitude that has an impact not only on the town of Canton, but on the bucolic scenery for the entire state. This will set a precedent for what will go on afterwards in the state of Vermont. And if we're not careful, the state that first banned roadside signs to preserve this bucolic scenery that we have before us, that we all love every day on our way to work, will be wiped out. And what will the tourist industry do then? So I think it's incumbent upon us to really check on this company that has less than an honest reputation. It's been brought to my attention that they were fined over $98 million for trying to bribe officials in Brazil? And we want to do business with these people? Come on, I think the townspeople ought to be made aware of this. Something should be done. So I'll try and refrain from any more comments. I don't want to overtake the meeting, but this is the big deal.
Okay,
All right,
Thank
thank you. Yes,
please come up.
Please.
Thank you.
Hi, Terry Pelletier, I live in Hopkins Road. I am having an appreciation for how this has to unfold at its own pace, especially once it gets to the state level, the PUC. And I'm just wondering how the board, I don't know if you know the answer today, but how will the board keep people apprised of what's happening at this level? Will all the upcoming issues be coming up at other select board meetings in terms of if there are more negotiations happening, or is all that gonna fall under executive session? Or I'm just wondering what you foresee happening so that we can just stay on board with everything.
and let me try to explain to you, because I did have conversations with our attorney. We have our attorney that we received from Ben Marks, who initially, John, maybe you remember Ben Marks. He was the guy that helped us with the solar field with Green Mountain Power. Ben Marks, he's the select board chairman of Cornwall. Yeah, well, he was the one who helped us. He recommended Leslie for us, Leslie Cadwell. So we hired Leslie Cadwell, and I spoke to her today, and as the DRB has said, basically, they are not willing to change the plan. So it comes back to the select board, and any form of negotiations that is on, if we're buying a truck or we're doing a new contract or something, goes into executive session because it doesn't show the hand of what we're doing in public. It would be like you buying a house, you see the price of this house, and you are saying, I'm gonna give this amount of money, and if I knew what they wanted, I would just give them that and it would be over. Sometimes that happens, sometimes that doesn't. But that's the whole little process on that. And from our council, and again, this is what she does. She deals with a lot of solar fields. She did the wind farm, bunch of things with solar. So usually she sits on the other side of the table for the people who want to put the solar in. So she's very informed on this. And basically, she is, again, telling us, hold your cards close to your chest. Don't say you want it. Don't say you don't want it. Just be a neutral person. Hear what they're saying and absorb it, and not sit there and say, yes, we want it. No, we don't want it. Because these things could change quickly with the Public Utility Commission, and also higher peoples up in the state. Needs and wants could happen, and so we don't know where we're standing, but we are going to meet with her, and we're going to bring in some members of the DRB, and the select board are going to meet with her, this attorney, and we're going to talk about our strategic plan on what we're going to do and how this process works, because this is very unfamiliar territory for us. We don't deal with solar fields coming into our town every day. We've just had one that we really kind of like, this is it. And we were saying, either take the solar field and the benefits you get, or just take the solar field. So we worked.
I'm sorry, that last comment was that.
For Green Mountain Power, yes. And it was very so we worked the deal with Green Mountain Power, and they did benefits for our community, and it was something like they're going to build it anyway.
Yeah,
So we had no control over
it
it.
may be a little different now because we have an energy plan.
And absolutely, it does have a factor in that process. And again, we're just getting strategically planned for this. We're not trying to hide anything. We're not getting any favoritism out. No one's getting any benefits. We get $800 a year. I got countless hours here.
No, I don't think anybody minimizes that.
I'm not making money on this thing.
Right.
If I'm gonna collect something, it's gonna be $2 million and wire it to my offshore
I
account.
just want to say, I don't want to take up anybody else's time, but I think people they feel like they don't have enough information to realize at what point, like today, people are giving input. But going forward, they may not realize at what point might it be strategic for people to speak up again.
And I understand that. I've met, and Teresa has met with these people twice. For them to say, we're ready to put this huge solar field in, it would be like, we meet with people more when they're putting in a new culvert. So, you know, we need to have more of a relationship and exactly what they're doing, because they could say, you know what, we're not going to go into this other area. We're going to go in the area where your plan says we can put a field. It might not be 50 megs, it might be 30 megs in the smaller field. I don't know, but you know, if that's enhanced energy plan says they can do it, we really don't have anything to say about it, because it's the enhanced energy plan says they could put it there. So, you know, we aren't trying to sit there and buffalo this thing out. It's just like, we don't want to show you what's in our hand yet. And if I have to show it to you, I have to show it to everybody.
Okay, I really appreciate that answer.
Does that help
It
at
helped
all?
me, and I hope it helps some other
Yeah,
people
and I
too.
also, I
Yeah.
wanna say that, that due to people's schedules and out of town, we have not yet met as a board to talk about
Right.
the town, like, what this all means for the town. We have not had that
It has to
opportunity
it has
yet.
to unfold
It
and
still is
eventually,
unfolding. We're
right.
still getting information. And we have a, you know, we're walking a fine line of telling people what they can do on their own property and what they
Well, I
can
have
do.
issue with that.
No, and that's okay, and that's okay, but that's,
Yeah,
we do have, I mean, there is that line, and that doesn't mean that we won't take a stand. We're not there yet.
Well, I just want to comment, you know, I'm taking up other people's time, but if indeed we could do what we wanted at our own property, we wouldn't have a junk ordinance and some of the other.
That's
in
totally
town,
fair.
And people could truly do what they wanted, so.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
That's
belabor
totally
that, but.
Okay.
That's totally
Great.
fair.
Thank you for your answers.
All right, thank you. Anybody else here for public comment? Well, hold on, John, make sure that anybody else want to speak. John has already spoke once. Is anybody else?
Okay,
Oh.
Jamie, and then Kathy, and then John, you can come back up at that point.
So this is unrelated to the solar.
Okay.
Oh, okay, it's different public comment stuff.
Oh, it's still public comment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's good.
So a couple of concerns. Right now, the budget is in question, I think. So you mentioned earlier that there are some questions about, you know, the reports that you all have received as a board.
Mhm.
And it's not clear where your cash position is and where the budget position is. And so I would encourage you, before making any decisions in terms of adding additional staff, changing staff, or making final determinations on salary increases for the next fiscal year, that we hold back until we have a firm understanding of what the fiscal financial position is of the town.
Thank you.
Good point, thank you.
Kathy?
Nope.
Yeah.
First, could you clarify your comment that you and Teresa had met twice with the solar company? When and where was that meeting? Did that meeting take place?
That would be here.
At a select board meeting?
Yes,
During an executive session or?
No.
No.
open
Okay.
session.
Okay. And then my other comment is, at the last select board meeting, you mentioned that you did not want to hear from any people that were not residents of the town of Canton. I disagree with that in that you have people who are not residents of the town of Canton that pay property taxes in the town of Canton. And I feel that you need to listen to them as well.
Okay. I would clarify you. As I saw a statement in Front Porch Forum, somebody from Orwell saying they didn't appreciate the solar field. And, you know, he can have a great, or she can have a great opinion on that, but it doesn't affect the town of Penn, doesn't affect the people who live here. You live in Orwell. I am not writing Orwell and saying, you know, your town hall building is kind of rustic, you should paint it. And they would say, well, thanks, Pam, I really don't care what you think. Why don't you just work on Orwell and we'll work on Panton? And that's what we're really
And
what
it's,
the whole
and
point
I
is.
think that people who do pay taxes, I think that's different than a non-resident who has no connection to the town. I think that's different.
See, I disagree because we're suddenly listening to people from out of state on the solar project, the people proposing it, people working on it, and
It's something that they're building in our community, which they'll be paying taxes on. That would be like a contractor coming to build a new garage on your property, and he's from New York. It would be lots like saying, oh, he can't build that garage because he's from New York. Only people from Vermont. Anybody else? Yes, sir, come on.
I would like this man to speak.
Oh, you're yielding to John Biscup?
Okay, perfect.
Okay, John Biscup.
I'm Dr. John, this Howard doesn't refer to me as my first name, but that's all. Anyway, you would hire a lawyer?
Yes,
Who's paying for it?
the solar people.
So the solar people are paying for a lawyer that's supposed to represent our interests?
That we
Yes.
selected.
That
We selected the
You
attorney,
selected the lawyer, but they're paying the bill.
correct?
Doesn't that sound like bribery?
No.
No.
This is what they were accused of in Brazil. So how much money is this lawyer costing?
I'm not sure, but there's an amount of $25,000 in the bank for us, for that lawyer.
Okay, that's fine, Howard, but you know, when somebody pays your bill, pays your salary.
Yep.
Most people are beholden to that person paying the bill.
So that would be like, if being a dentist, you're collecting money from the insurance company, so you're beholden to the insurance
Oh,
company, not the
I'm most
patient.
certainly beholden to that insurance company. They dictate to me what they'll cover.
Well, I'm just telling you,
I'm
John,
just telling you how energy works.
no, I'm saying, I think this lawyer would be very offended by you by saying that somehow she's hooked up with this solar company. This is a typical deal that is done all through the state of Vermont because smaller towns don't have the cash flow or the money. And if you think the town of Panton can come up with $25,000 in reserve to keep our attorney there, it would never happen. We don't have the money. We haven't anticipated that money. We have a budget, I think, of less than $10,000 for legal fees. So we would be without legal counsel, or we would be having a huge bill that would add financial costs to the taxpayers.
I don't care how I offend a lawyer hired by this company, okay?
They're
not hired by the
that
They're
company.
paying the bill, Howard.
So
And
what?
They're paying the bill, okay?
Okay.
And for you
We're
to
done.
hire a lawyer that somebody else is paying for without any public knowledge of it, and it wasn't disclosed here until fortunately, was
Unfortunately, it was
We
disclosed.
had the whole conversation about it at the last select board. meeting.
And the one before that.
was
when
it
we
on
hired
the,
them.
was it in the
Yes.
minutes?
Yes,
Yes.
It was in the minutes?
So
Yes.
we'll accept your apology.
I'm not apologizing, I'm asking questions.
that's
And
okay
my
to ask
question
questions, but
is
please
it
don't
in the
accuse us
minutes
of
of the
something.
last
Don't
meeting?
accuse
Yes.
us things that we haven't done.
Yes, it is in the minutes. We had a long discussion about the contract last select board, and we discussed it previous to that at the previous, and it should be in the minutes
And when we
of
hired
all of
her,
those.
I haven't read the minutes, Sharon, so is it in there? Because I don't,
okay, we're not having cross conversations like that, John.
well, can I verify you?
Well, you can verify it by sitting down and then.
And you
if
can
there's
look up the
somebody else-
minutes. I mean,
Well,
they're in the
my
minutes.
question hasn't been answered.
What question? Can you repeat your question,
If
please?
you have a question about the minutes, ask the clerk, she knows.
What is the question?
The question was the fact that the town hired an attorney who was paid by this company.
Please answer yes or no.
There was an escrow agreement that has been made public. Kathy Kennett got a copy last meeting, I believe. It is available, the escrow and the attorney's hiring has been discussed and documented both in agendas and minutes.
Well, that's good. I commend you for at least making that public, because that's the first I've heard that.
The details aren't.
But still, I think there's a conflict of interest.
Okay,
Sharon, thank you.
please don't do that. We're trying to have a reasonable public comment time, and that really.
And we're
makes it-
extending this, letting you people speak, and it's, you know, don't cross.
Sorry,
Excuse me.
Please.
correcting an error.
I don't care, Sharon. Stop, please.
Okay, I'll wait my turn to correct the error.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else, John?
Well, there are probably quite a few things, Howard, not here to, I think it's, again, as I stated earlier, this is not a small matter. It's a big matter. It's a 300-acre matter. It is a huge piece of real estate that has tremendous implications and ramifications for the entire state of Vermont. And I think we need to be totally open about everything that's going on about this.
Okay.
And I was alarmed to hear that they applied for this in 2018 and nothing was made public until March of this year. So that doesn't smell right.
Well, then you should talk to the state because they didn't apply here.
It wasn't, didn't come to the select board. So it had to have been done through the state because it was not part.
All right, so
So-
how can, I thought we were in charge of our own municipality there. How can this company that has a less than honest reputation go to the state? The state may have not realized what it has done in Brazil. Fortunately, we now do. And how can they dictate to us when we've already, I think, fulfilled our energy obligation? How can this company come in and dictate, well, okay, we're gonna put this through, and who are the owners? Who are the owners of the property?
It's also in the minutes, I believe most of it is the Marzolkowskis and Boris Development.
Morris develops.
The Bolsheviks own the other, part of it?
Part of it, the
Those are only
Marzolkowskis.
owners? Okay, I just, this is a big deal. And,
Absolutely.
I don't feel we had the opportunity to openly discuss it because it's in our town. And, I think we should be in control of our own town.
I
Agreed.
believe we are.
Agreed.
Well, where do you stand for this? Where do you stand, Howard? It's my understanding, let me see, then you can correct me if I'm wrong. But we have a developmental review board that is supposed to be in charge of this. And they stated they are not in favor. Am I correct?
They voted not to change the energy enhancement plan.
Which
Okay,
means
so
part
that
of it,
means-
if that stayed current, if that stayed as is and they only built, there still would be some solar panels put out. It just wouldn't be as big.
It wouldn't be 300 acres, it would probably be
Yeah.
200 acres.
Yeah. It's just different because
We
they
have-
have.
And we would not have
we-
control over
Hang
it.
on, hang on, hang on.
Well, we don't have control.
Not on the energy enhancement plan.
Well, I think we've got.
They could go to the PUC and then they say they want to put solar panels in that energy enhancement area that we recognize, and they could do that.
Well, I think then, I
Not much we could
think
say.
it's incumbent upon this town to, as I said, to set a precedent and say, hey, you know, when has this state changed its overall perspective on what we all come here for? And to all of a sudden entertain the idea of a 300-acre black smudge in the middle of our town, which is a considerable amount of real estate. And if this is what the Public Utility Board has secretly been going and endorsing without public knowledge, then they should be held accountable.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Yes, come on up.
Hi.
How are you?
Good, thank you. My understanding about the town energy plan is that it's.
Enhanced town.
Enhanced
Tell us
town.
who you are.
Chris Weigel.
to enhance the town energy plan outlined 300 acres where solar panels could go.
Yeah.
In a way, and I believe that someone contacted the person, I think Sharon contacted the person who assisted in helping the plan, and I understand someone is deceased who made the plan as
Yes,
well.
that would be David Raphael.
So
And
I thought the idea was, just like if you were a town, you're saying, well, where would we put a school? And we'd say, well, we'd look, it's gotta be close to where we could put a bus, you know, like all the traffic patterns where people live. And you say, in this area. That's my idea about the town energy plan, that it wouldn't be 300 acres solid. It would be in these parameters, in this perimeter.
Mhm.
And that then there will be a further review to what extent that area would be full. Not that it would be just sort of carte blanche, fill it all up. So that's what I'd like your thought on your interpretation of reading the town enhanced town energy plan.
First, I have not read the town energy enhancement.
Okay.
And second of all, that is all done by the planning commission and also by the DRB. So they come up with, if it meets the qualification areas, and this is my understanding, talking to the chair, is that if it meets the qualification to go in that area, they set up the rules, how it's gonna set up and everything that goes with it. They then pass that information to us, and it would be our decision to accept that, what we're doing, and make sure it's the correct thing. But again, we would take guidance and understanding from the DRB and the planning commission, just like they would take guidance from us about salting roads, plowing snow, moving, using loaders and stuff like that, because that's what we do. It's like it's a separate branch of government altogether, that they actually run this stuff, and we don't interfere with them at all.
I do think it was at the DRB meeting.
It's not a separate branch.
It's not, well, it's not
It's
a separate branch.
branch.
No, but it's, no, I think it was more of kind of the inferring that we all have things that we're responsible for. And the select board is not responsible for things that the DRB does, just like the DRB is not responsible for the things that the select board does. Not that it's a separate branch of government, but that we all have the things
And
that we.
That's what
focus
you just said, is it's a separate branch, and I was just correcting you. Because there's a lot of this type of words that are slipped in that are simply aren't accurate. And it's
No,
important, it's important, semantics need to find a different place. We need to speak truthfully and honest to everyone, quite frankly.
Thank
It's-
you.
And what I would say to you, and it's not necessarily a separate government, it's basically Maggie does accounting, Rick Klucher does town maintenance. It's not separate,
think I
but
have
they
an
do
issue with
separate,
this.
they have separate things.
That's not my issue.
responsible.
So I believe it was at the DRB meeting that I heard that in their making the plan, they were never saying that all 300 acres would become a solar farm. It was just that in this perimeter, there could be. And I think the assumption also might have been that it would have been a public project like the last one, not someone doing it for personal gain. And a benefit also to the community, the town, the state. So I think it was just sort of, where could we possibly do this? Not some sort of stamp of approval that it would be done.
But understanding, when they want to, asking us to change our enhanced energy plan, it's a significantly more difficult thing to do than just sitting there. I'm going to put a solar field in our energy enhanced plan area. That is like something we can hardly have any control over, because that's where you said we could do this.
But isn't there some sort of like further hoops that you expected?
You would go into the Public Utility Commission.
Which is a state.
Which is the state.
Okay.
It's messy.
It's very nice. Welcome to government.
Yeah.
Yes, anybody else before she comes up?
I'd like a question. I have a question.
Sure,
Oh,
thanks,
sure,
Sean.
go ahead.
Is Sean Sullivan?
Could you say who you are and where
My name is
Yeah.
Sean Sullivan. I'm a former Panton resident, 6th generation. I now live in Florida, actually, but I'm in a butter to this project. I guess I should ask first, do you feel I have standing to talk? Because I heard how that was something that was brought up previously.
Sure, we'll let you talk.
My gosh, that's pretty gracious of you. Thank you. Did your board approve the energy plan that was prepared for years was put into to determine how that was established and set up?
The enhanced energy plan, the one that we've been talking about that has the possibility of 300 acres, that one?
The existing plan in place that has already been where the energy components have been met, 200% of the expected Panton contribution, and the overall commitment that has been made that was filled by the Vorsterveld GMP plan.
We had a,
We did
That
not have an energy plan with the Boswell parent plan. That was before all that process started.
Okay, since then, was it approved by the select board?
what,
Yeah,
doing the
yeah.
enhanced energy plan?
Okay,
Yes,
Yes.
it was, okay. So
It came
then
from the DRB with their recommendation.
the DRB subsequently has recommended not to reopen that plan, correct?
correct.
So
They
then
voted
your,
that on last Thursday, yes.
I understand, and your position is now you don't want to play your cards? Is that what you're saying? Why won't this board take a formal position on this based upon the design review board and your approved enhanced energy plan? It's pretty,
That would because we're listening to our council, because she's really good at this.
And also, the three of us, I think I stated it earlier, and I certainly stated last week, like, Zach's not here tonight. Our schedules have made it so that all three of us have not been at one meeting yet. And I actually came tonight thinking that we should schedule a meeting where we actually, the three of us, can have a full conversation about just this. We have not had the opportunity to do that yet, and I think it would be irresponsible to provide a statement of what the board thinks when we have not had that conversation.
And we don't have a full board.
Until the three of us can sit down together, which has not happened in 3 or 4 meetings because of scheduling, that would be irresponsible for us to have a board position when we can't talk to the whole board about it.
I think it's imperative that that meeting occurs sooner than later.
100% agree with you.
And that is why we say that we're going to meet with our attorney and probably talk about this with also the DRB and the planning commission and the three of us. And so we can get an understanding where we stand, what to do, what the direction, and because she's an expert in this. And so we're going to listen to our attorney. If we're not going to listen to our attorney, find a different one.
Excuse me? I'm sorry, what was that?
I said,
If I don't want to find it, are you?
if
is
you
that
don't like
correct?
listening, if you don't listen to your attorney,
You
what
have
she
to
says, then why would you
Right.
keep her?
We have to, so we're
We're not
saying-
experts on solar fields.
We're not. So we're trying to learn along, and we're using our counsel, who is an experienced energy attorney, to advise us, and we can look at all of the data, all of the maps, all of the plans with the advice of counsel, so that we can take a town position. We have not done that yet, and I agree 100% with you that we need to do this as soon as possible.
Raise your hand, yeah.
Yeah, because if it came out in March, it's now what? June? There's 3 months that if nothing's occurred.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Well, yep, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Um,
Mr.
yes,
Willis,
just-
and then, and then we can have repeat. We can have repeat people once we have everybody who wants to speak first as an opportunity.
Sure.
Mr. Willis,
Yeah, thanks. Can you hear me okay?
yes,
Yep.
thank you.
All right. Well, I wanted to repeat what I said during the DRB Planning Commission meeting last Thursday, which was to thank the DRB and the town officials for allowing us to have 2 public events. One was on May 22nd, the other was on June 12th. And the May 22nd event had 40 people. And we did 2 hours of question and answer. So I think that was some healthy public engagement. Several of the people who are attending tonight attended that meeting. And we got to hear some folks' concerns. On June 12th, and this was all advertised on the town website, we had the opportunity to host an open house and made it clear to everybody that we would present quite a large volume of project information. Unfortunately, only about 12, maybe not 12, less than 20 people attended the open house. Right. And so that was, disappointing because we thought, people would want to get information from, we brought the subject matter experts. We brought some exhibits that would make it a little easier to understand how the project was being proposed. So just so that everybody is aware, so that information, the town has graciously allowed us to upload that. All of the information that was presented on June 12th is now on the town website. So if people actually are a little curious about specific facts regarding the project, regarding what it would look like from 22A, which is one of the primary concerns people have raised. There are visual simulations of that. If they're concerned about what's in it for the town of Panton, there's a specific exhibit on economic benefits that are comparable to benefits that we've already agreed to with another town. We have not entered any type of negotiations with the town of Panton. We're very early in this process. So I did just want to say thanks for, it didn't have to be done in town hall. I wanted to say thank you for graciously allowing us to use town hall and to have the event there. One other matter for the record that might be helpful, because there appears to be some confusion. I've done my best to try and explain this previously, but I guess I haven't done a very good job. So we started development of this project in 2018, and to start development, you work with private landowners and you identify an area in which you could potentially use for solar. And then you have to go through a series of studies to determine if that proposed project would be able to tie into the electric grid without doing any, requiring any material upgrades to the electric grid. So the reason, so we didn't make any formal application in 2018. To make a formal application to the PUC is something that requires an awful lot of work, and we're still several months away from doing that now. So that was not what we did. What we did was, what we tried to share in that one slide that has been brought out during the meeting tonight, is to show that initially we were right on 22A. And we did, informally, have some back and forth with the town, and was made aware of the town energy plan and the desire for the projects not to be on 22A and to be as tucked away as possible. And I understand, that certain residents have a point of view. It would be explicitly in that area, and that could be the town's position as well. So we relocated with quite a bit of effort where the project was designed to be after we received all the authorizations and studies to tie into the grid. And that's why it took us till 2024 to come in and now formally share with the town what we intended to do, because prior to that, we really didn't know if we had a project. The project timeline takes, we're early in the process. So I know people are very anxious. People want to make commitments and everything. I would really encourage people at least take a look at some of the information, evaluate whether this could be good or bad for the town. Some people are going to make snap judgments. Some people will want to study it. So I would hope that at least those people that would like to study the information would be given a chance to do that. And then, the process doesn't even begin until we make an application in front of the state. We also shared one last thing. We shared public input. How do citizens get involved and stay involved in this process? Because we heard concerns that you know, there was no opportunity once it went into the state PUC process for people to have their voice heard. So we went to, you know, great effort to try and make that a easy handout for people to take. That handout is also on the town website. So we're trying to do our best to let people know what the process is. We're involved in 3 projects in Vermont. 1 is late stage, so we've been through this process completely down in the town of Shaftesbury. So that, you know, is how we're trying to approach things. We appreciate the chance to present the information, and we hope people get a chance to look at it and think about it a little bit as they form their opinions. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Could I speak now, please?
Yes, I'm sorry. Can we let Lorraine Kaiser go?
Absolutely.
That would be great. Thanks, Lorraine Kaiser.
Thank you. I just have a couple of things we wanted to clarify or to comment on. I just wanted to thank, I believe her name was Terry Pelletier, who spoke earlier. And she said for the transparency, that I think it might be helpful, that a lot of folks, you know, are, from what I gather, are more or less confused about all of this going on, commissions and plans and who is responsible for what. It's rather difficult to follow all this. I also just wanted to mention to Mr. Reed, I think his name is Willis, that there was no Zoom option. We were out of state and definitely would have gone on that. But his excuse the last meeting was that there was no way you can set up a Zoom in the town hall in Panton. And I think you're seeing that you can. So as far as people not showing up at that meeting, they couldn't if they were not, if the Zoom option had been there, that might have been a different story. I think that just maybe a better explanation of where everything falls, and again, I'll say transparency, and that maybe a little bit more acknowledgement of the opinions of Panton residents. I think, John, you mentioned that, that folks sort of feel, you know, kind of left on the sidelines, but just sort of aware of who's approving what and when. And there's a lot here. And thank you. I just wanted to mention that. Thank you.
Thank you, Lorraine.
Yes, go ahead. Hold on, John.
I just, first of all, I have nothing but respect for all the board members, and you all have been on here many, many years, and that's not typical in a lot of towns. And I have nothing but respect for the work that you do for Panton, and I know it feels like you get beat up in some of these meetings. So again, thank you.
Appreciate that.
Our skin's thick.
Yeah, it has to be. But you did mention, you know, I had just read the town plan and the energy plan recently, and it's been on the books for a while now. And so I learned so much from reading it. I think it's 150 pages long. So it takes a bit of a commitment, but you can skim around, and it's such a big explanation of our town and just the history and how where we're headed and why we are where we are today. And the energy part of it is important. I'm hoping all 3 of you will read it and spend some time with it, because that plan in its state today gives our town substantial deference at the state level. It is significantly written, and it gives us a certain standing with the PUC. So that's all I want to say.
Okay, great.
Okay,
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah.
All right, John.
I think I want to direct this to Mr. Reed, because you've been negotiating apparently with the state and state agencies since 2018, and you've allowed the townspeople of Panton only to be aware of this in 2024. Shame on you. Shame on you. You're affecting this town in a major way. okay? We're not a bunch of country bumpkins that just wanna have somebody come in from out of state and, from what I understand, grab a huge financial gain at our expense. And I'm accusing you of this. So I'm
So
putting
you want to give me the opportunity to respond? This is part of the problem with the audio, that I didn't want to have a town meeting with trying to coordinate all the Zoom. It's a little challenging for us to hear. But John, we did not have any negotiations with the state of Vermont. I just tried to explain again, maybe not.
This is the first time I've been able to hear
John,
it.
I would like you to let me speak, please, and then you'll have your turn. So what I've tried to explain, not very effectively, is in 2018, in order for us to begin conceptualizing a project, I worked with private landowners, and I shared with the members of the town the landowners I was working with and the area I was working in.
You share, excuse me,
How we
I need
began
to
our
have you,
process.
I need to understand what you just said, okay?
Yes.
So
Yes.
who did you
Me
share
too.
from the town in 2018, your plan?
I didn't share anything with the town. I was working with private landowners to evaluate if there was an opportunity to do a project in Canton. Because
Excuse me, Mr. Willis, that's not what you said. You said that you were working with the landowners, then you said you worked with the town and relocated the area away from 22A. If you want to go back and look at the Zoom, that's what you said. So did you engage with the town in 2018?
No, sir.
So
And I-
your decision to
said
move
that
away
multiple
from
times.
your decision to move back from 22A was irrelevant to the town. You just misspoke when you said you did.
No, the discussions with the town took place in 2022. The map I showed you was the map of the land that we signed up in 2018. So I
Okay,
was
so I
trying
believe
to
they're
share with
okay.
you that there was a substantial investment made from 2018 to 2022. And when we were advised that the town was in no way interested in a project that was in the view shed of 22A, that they had specifically done a town energy plan and shown scenic view shed area that was important to them, then we attempted to put the entire project over there, but not owners were interested in having solar over there. So what we did is we did a project that's outside of the scenic area shown on the town energy plan and on the town plan, but we did not get it all within the enhanced energy plan area. So we relocated our project and we had some costs there that we had to, sort of absorb. But we understand that, the townspeople had spoken, voted, and strongly felt that it should be in a different location. Now, the locations that we were able to work with landowners is still not satisfactory to several of the people that are here tonight. I understand you may be one of them, but this was the best that we could do to try and get out of the scenic area, which is clearly demarked in the town energy plan. And we were successful in doing that.
So you started working with the town in 2022. I'm sorry, I misheard earlier that it wasn't until March of this year. I think that's what
I
Terry
didn't
stated.
make an application to the town. We had an informal meeting and was made aware of the town energy plan and the town preferences. And following that, we made these decisions. So
Okay,
we did
so
not make there was no formal presentation. We did not come in and have any formal meetings. We made no application. We were not at that stage of development.
Thank you. I think Mr. Hall stated earlier, though, that this all started in March of this year, when what you just told me, informal or otherwise, isn't really the
Right.
case, right? 2022, there was involvement with the town.
I
I'm
think
sure.
it was with the DRB, not with the select board.
Thank you, ma'am. And it was informal.
Which is a big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was informal, right? We're just in saying, hey, we've got an idea. This is what we want to do. Right? Well, we're coming now and we're saying, hey, there's some meat on the board, on the bone. So I'm sure a lot of people have ideas of things they want to do in Canton and other places. We, made the decision that the time to come in and, I have about 30 or 40 of these that I manage. we like to come in when we have a fairly detailed body of work. And that's why we ran our open house. And if you care to examine the data, there's, many man hours of engineering work that's displayed there that shows how we would approach and do this project, which again is completely an uncertainty, right? We have to be, if we're a developer, we make the case to have a project, and then we go through a very thorough legal review that includes a lot of public participation to find out if we have the opportunity to build it. And we spend capital along the way, and we may get it and we may not. We're normally very successful, but we're not always successful. And that's why.
Capital.
Excuse me?
What capital? So you'll have expenses.
I had the
You're not
floor.
buying any capital equipment or anything, correct?
Sean, can you just hold on 1 second, because John does have the floor here for.
Okay, yeah, I'm done.
I appreciate your remarks, John, but there's certain things here that just irritate me. The fact that an out-of-state entity can come in and somehow this 300 acres gets plopped down in Canton without anybody in Canton being aware of it, totally against what our Development Review Board has designated. And you then go and somehow, I read the minutes, Howard, from last meeting, and it said in there that you elected to hire the lawyer. It never said anywhere in there that the lawyer is being paid by this person. So that isn't full disclosure. And the fact.
Excuse me, John. She will tell you, she is the clerk. This was a discussion that we had, and it was full disclosure. She was initially paid by the town, and then when the reserve money came in, I don't know what exactly is the amount of money that they agreed between negotiating the solar company and the town of Penn through our attorney. They would have a reserve fund of $25,000 that would pay for our attorney at the hourly rate that she's charging us. That's how that works.
But
And
it was negotiated. All I want to do is understand.
John, can I clarify something for you? Because I think this might help.
There's so much to clarify.
Sure. The idea of payment by the developer for the attorney was made at the DRB meeting in March 14th, 2024. So
Where?
please read those.
DRB meeting, John.
It was made there?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah,
well,
it was made by the DRB. It was made by the DRB chair. Had several.
Yes.
Yes, Mary Rudd.
Mary
Yes.
Rudd.
All right, well,
Okay.
this needs to be disclosed,
Well,
because I
but
think they made a mistake.
But it is.
I
but it
think
was
that's a mistake.
But it
What's
may be
the-
so,
what's the-
but that
The
is,
mistake is to allow a company to come in and basically.
Okay, you've already said this to us, John.
Okay, so
All
I
right,
think-
and we disagree
He
with
gets
you.
to comment on it.
And you're getting to, you told us it was a mistake, and we've heard you.
All right.
So
Now,
let's,
okay.
so we
let's put
just,
that
if
to
you have
rest.
something
We can-
new,
It is.
I will
new.
let you.
Let me continue. I would like to know what your timeline is for going to the Public Utility Board with your proposal.
That's a great question, John, and I'm sorry that you couldn't join us on June 12th. It is something that we've published and is available on the town website that we gave general parameters, but our goal is to, in the fourth quarter of this year, begin that process, make a formal application to the Vermont Public Utility Commission. We would expect that process to take at least 1 year. The one we're in Shasberry has taken over a year. During that period of time, the public is afforded multiple opportunities for input, which I will bet my bottom dollar, a town meeting run by the PUC in this town hall. And that's just the process that they follow. So we're very early in the process. I know it feels to you like it's late in the process, but as far as any I know it does, but from a decision-making standpoint, there will be no permit decision made until at least the end of 2025.
Well, that's important information. So I think we have to, as townspeople, to be brought in at this late date. And I still have questions as, who did you negotiate with that allowed you to build this on their property? When was this?
Private landowners who were interested in doing solar.
Did they come to you or do you go to them?
No, we approached landowners
You did.
all across the northeastern United States. We have about 40 projects going right now.
So
Some
you
of them
approached-
smaller, some of them bigger.
Okay, well, all right, so we're starting to see some facts, and I think we as town people have to decide whether or not we want this for our town. And because it does have an impact and it sets a precedent for the state, which you apparently, I still have difficulty understanding how somebody comes in and changes a designated area in our town, and I think it was the Regional Planning Commission, if they have the authority to come in and say, hey, okay, we're gonna put this 300 acres here. How does that happen when it goes against everything that's the under municipal
Right.
local control?
Yes, there's a lot of people that put a lot of work into preparing a town plan. We don't get to undo that. We come in and we make a proposal and we say, we're doing the best we can. Here's our rationale. Here's what we think is a good project for the town of Canton. So we haven't undone anything. We haven't undercut anybody. We are making a proposal. We're at the beginning of that process. It is a public process that you will be permitted to participate in and share your view with the people who are the real decision makers. So if we don't comply in every way, shape, or form, then the town can take a position that, you know, there's no good for the town and that they're free to do that. And you guys are all very active in sharing your opinion.
Well,
But
that's
no one has underdone anything. All we've done is
refreshing to hear that, and so I think we have a job as townspeople to decide, and not only as townspeople, but as Vermonters, as to whether or not we wanna have something this large and this commercial for our state to comply with our goal in 2035, I think it is, that the state is supposedly to be all green energy. And maybe that's what's pushing this through, but I'm afraid, you know, these panels of yours could be placed on big box stores. They could be,
John,
We
we have other
people
people
who'd
that
like
want
to
to
speak,
speak,
please.
so, yes.
I'm
Thanks.
sorry,
No, that's okay.
I won't open my big mouth again.
No, it's okay. We just
We-
want to
we
make sure
wanna hear
everybody
you,
has time.
But, you know,
Denise Strona, it's right in front of my property. We have a revision, and it says no, that, you know, we can't do this, so why were we even considering this? What's going on here?
Okay, can you, so you have.
Our
this had-
revision is, we're a farm place, and now we're putting a 300, you know, acres. I'm a farm girl, I know what that's all consists of, not everybody knows, but it's a big thing.
Yeah.
In front of my house.
well, that's absolutely
So
true.
my understanding, if I might, is from what I've, over the different meetings, different things I've read, all of that, is that the enhanced energy plan says, this is where we think, these 300 acres are where we think that solar could go.
It doesn't go by the plan.
Okay, hang
Solar
on,
does
hang
not
on,
go with
I'm
the
getting
plan.
there.
Okay.
Full stop. And then Mr. Willis, correct me if I'm mistaken. So when they approached landowners, that the landowner said, yeah, we're interested in doing this. And the pushback was, nobody wants to be able to see it from 22A. So the 300 acres that they're talking about have now gone outside of the energy plan to not be able to be seen.
Not
No,
There's a-
so,
there's a-
okay, no, okay, so
there's a-
hang
there's-
on,
there's a-
that's why I'm trying to clarify here.
There's 150 acres that are in the enhanced energy plan. Okay, that is on, Slang Road and West Road, right in that little area,
Oh,
right
I know
there.
where that
Yeah,
area is.
she's like, I'm
Okay.
right there.
Good.
Okay,
If
so,
Reed would say, I want to put my solar panels there on those 150 acres, he could do that. And we, as townspeople, can't say, you can't do that, because we have this energy plan and says he could put it there if he wants to. What he's asking us to do is change our enhanced energy plan and going over West Road to some other farm field areas, include that area. That was the decision. And the Development Review Board and the Planning Commission said, no, we do not want to change our enhanced energy plan. So it is basically finished. So he has to come up and talk to the select board and see what he's interested in doing. And that's what we're doing. So there's rules that we all have to follow, and that is basic rule that we have that's been voted on and approved on, which countless hours of energy that was put in by the Regional Planning Commission and also people on the DRB and also the select board. We all worked on that to get it done.
Okay, but this was a person who didn't even live here, who has land. I'm just scared of, we're allowing all these people coming who don't even live here, making all these rules. What's gonna happen to the next time? I mean, I don't want this in front of mine. And do you guys know the repercussion of what's gonna happen when you put these 300? Did you read and do your investigation and do
And
science?
we've looked at this and, yes, and again, we haven't said yes and we haven't said no.
So what control though that you guys have or we have, or is it mainly, just be honest, is the state's gonna say yes anyway? I mean, are we just pointedly just complaining and it's gonna happen or what? I would like an honest answer.
And that's something we have to talk to our council about.
that's why we haven't had that, like I've said before. We found out in March of 2024, at the same time that it was made public, once they got to the point where they were approaching the town.
Because it's gonna affect me medically, and it's gonna affect a lot of people medically, these solar farms. I live right there, it's gonna affect me, I'm right, well, either in front of or behind, and I'd have to sell. I can't stay here.
I understand.
And, they're also ruining someone's business, Marskowski's son's business. I mean, anything counted in that? I don't even know why we're this far. I think we should have said, no, go find some other place. It's already down two
because-
places.
We don't.
Why
we
is
can't-
that?
It's because they're talking about it, it's a state regulation. And it's not public land. So we do have to, yes, we get to weigh in, yes, we get to have these conversations and make our feelings known. But they haven't said, can we put this on Canton Town land? It's not on our land.
So it's okay.
You should talk to the landowners if you're upset.
That really, we can be part of this process, but ultimately, and we can make decisions and make our voices heard, whatever the town position, once we have all the information.
But we
and
have
answers.
a thing saying that we have a rule that we are
And
not,
the rule says you could put,
100, you said 150
it's
acres,
150 acres, you could put solar panels.
but I can't split my land. Okay,
I'm just
I'm just so
saying-
frustrated because we just found out this year, and I'm finding out it was happening in 2018. Maybe you guys
We-
didn't know about it,
that
somebody
didn't
else
have-
knew about it.
It didn't have anything to do with us in 2018. It
No.
had to do with conversations with
Yes,
private
sir, and,
landowners.
we just
They had
found
that
out
map that had 2018 and
the DRB knew about
2024.
this before we did.
I understand that, and that's not fair, but we
So-
need to know what's going on in our, Pat needs to know.
And again, and my response to that is, as we find out more and more, despite the tension, I'm like happy to see so many people here. But people don't usually go to the DRB meetings, and I'm not saying it's any one person's fault, but this is why we get involved, right? Is
And-
become informed.
I would have
so
been
that we're-
last week when we were out of state.
I totally get it.
understand, people don't go to the select board meetings and saying, well, I didn't see this, and I didn't see you guys. I don't know what to tell you. It's
I
in the
mean,
minutes or.
We're trying to do the best thing for the
We
town.
have tried everything. We've got reasonable hours. We have this. We have it on Zoom where you could watch it from home. You know, we have
I
this
really
stuff
be
on the
honest with you, I think
website.
it's a lot of money that's involved, that's why it's pushed. They've already gotten to, you know, they've already got to.
And that may be
We're already
so.
200%. We don't need any more of these. I'd rather have them near our house or on our roof. I don't want them,
I appreciate that
right,
sentiment.
thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? All right.
Okay, I have something again.
Okay.
Okay, so in terms of more fact gathering, hopefully this will be able to wind things up. Zoning says it can only be part of the review when you put in the solar panels. How does that, the zoning regulation?
The zoning regulation says you block the zoning, the panels. So Howard has a house. Your house is here. I put solar panels here, and you're going like, I don't want to look at your solar panels, dude.
You have to
So
screen it. but
then
it
you
also-
have to put blockage in there, so you don't see my solar.
There's also a picture on the zoning page,
Right,
which
that-
shows, it says it's gotta be this percentage, and it shows like
Right,
the
exactly.
field and the, but,
Right.
like, quite possibly, many people who are close to the panels will have a much bigger view than that.
I
And
don't-
there is no way to put trees up to
Yeah.
block it, especially when you're overhang. So I wanna know how those two, the zoning and the, you know, how those things butt up.
And that's gonna be part of the conversation that we have, like what acres are here? What are we looking at in terms of the different
Actually,
parts? How close to
that's
Dead Creek
Reed's
is it?
problem, not our.
Okay, also, when the DRB, and I do read the minutes, or sometimes I zoom in, but,
Okay, thank you.
but the DRB said that no landowners were contacted in making the enhanced energy plan. Like, it wasn't like, is it okay with you if we put it in this zone? Like, that wasn't a consideration.
I can't answer that.
Yeah,
So
that would be
if they
that would be a
weren't
That's a
DRB
question for the
question.
But
DRB.
it's a little funny that people that were in the zone are the ones that were contacted. And since the person passed away.
I would really honestly tell you this, please don't villainize the people on the DRB and the select board,
Oh, no,
because
I'm
you know
not.
what?
I'm not, I'm
Volunteer-
just wondering.
Just listen to me for a second. We're all volunteers.
Mhm.
The DRB doesn't get paid at all. It's a lot of work, and there's a lot of things, and I don't think anybody I've ever met who does town government says, what's in it for me?
No.
Because I'm getting nothing at all from this, and it's a big pain in the butt sometimes for doing stuff. And I'll also be honest with you, there's not a lot of people lining up saying, pick me, pick me. So you throw all these people under the bus, you're gonna have a
No,
problem. So
Please don't think
just-
I'm doing that.
just-
Okay.
I
As
mean,
also someone
a
who
lot of the
served,
rhetoric is like that, like we're like trying, like there's some
Hard.
conspiracy.
but as far as someone who served this town 4.5 years on the school board and on the Hannaford vocational board, both positions, I understand.
Great.
So that's not where I'm coming from. I'm saying that he says he went to the DRB in 2022. If that was in the minutes, it's not something that ever triggered my awareness or your awareness when you review the DRB minutes. If this is something we need to be on
don't review
alert
the
from.
DRB
Right.
minutes.
You don't read the DRB minutes?
No,
We have so much going on with our own,
yeah,
we don't
we have
all
too
have
much
a
business
chance
for
to.
ourselves.
Maybe Maggie should or something, so that there's like, if something like a red hot, well, not that you don't have enough to do, Marty, sorry about that.
I'll be back tomorrow.
But I'm just saying, if this was such a big issue, it fell through the cracks.
It may not have been presented that way in that they were coming to the DRB saying, this is something we're looking at with questions for the DRB, and the DRB may have said, go ahead.
It would be like you saying, I'm thinking about building a garage on my property. Okay, well, come back when you got a plan. If you're just thinking about it, well, say hello.
We're looking into
But
it, yeah.
that's out of the norm, though.
Sure, but
I'm just giving you an example. They have people that come in and say, I want to do this, this, and this. I want to put a super house on the lakefront. And it's like, okay, come with a plan, and these are the rules you have to follow.
Okay. If there is time, I would like to,
Okay, take your
okay,
time.
I'm done with the DRB thing.
Okay,
But that wasn't criticism of them, it's just that there might have been an opportunity in 2022 to have become more prepared. And it's interesting that people that, when was the enhanced energy plan finished?
2019.
I was gonna say, I think, I was
Okay.
gonna say that.
So it's interesting whether anyone who made that plan had heard anything about interest in developing that area. Okay, anyway, is there a way of just doing a link to, he made it sound like his entire information is on the website?
It is indeed all on the website.
Instead of a link? Because I'm feeling
No,
like.
there's not. Sorry.
It's
No,
been very
because they
hard,
sent
yeah.
it to me
And
from a
yeah.
Google Doc. So unless I spend all my time reading their information into a different format and then posting it that way, so that I'm working for them, right?
Yeah.
Your tax dollars at work, so sorry, I mean, sure, it can be done.
I'm just saying, for public opinion, whether that doesn't look like we support it, or that we vetted them.
It's just information.
I would think the advantage is you get to look at it through the website. Many towns say, you want to look at it, it's at the town hall, come peruse it. You have the ability to sit there and go page by page and look at it and pay a fee for your copy. And you can do that too. But
Wait, what are we speaking about now?
the enhanced energy plan or whatever their plan is.
Their plan, not the enhanced energy.
You know,
plan.
So are you arguing that their plan shouldn't be on our website?
He's saying it's more convenient. His point of view is it's more convenient.
Well, what are you saying?
I'm saying that it seems sort of like we vetted them, and this is somebody that was up for contract.
And so for the last 4 weeks, when I have, or 8 weeks or 12 weeks, I keep getting, why isn't this information on the website? Do you have this information? Why isn't it published on the website?
There's,
So
it's
I-
just
So
kind of.
no,
like a
that's good to
no-win
know. I'm saying,
situation.
it's
Yeah,
public
it's-
comment, what is the best, what seems like.
So we're
Like
giving
we-
you as much information
thanks.
that we know.
Mhm.
Again, they have not come to us and shown us the dog and pony show. We have only seen here when they came to us twice. And it was a Zoom meeting, and then they had one meeting here, and they kind of talked to us a little bit about. Actually, it was a DRB meeting that I attended. But other than that, they haven't really sit there and say, hey, Howard, hey, Zach, hey, Teresa, this is what we're thinking we're doing. What do you guys think? No, we haven't done that. We haven't had a meet and greet.
And again, we still have to sit down and synthesize this as a board and look at all the information and, take information that we got from the landowners and information that we've gotten from the solar company, and then all the public comment that we have definitely heard. I just want y'all to know we are listening.
We are.
We are listening.
We're giving you guys
And we are
ample
residents
time.
too.
Our
We
meeting
want
is
what's
at
best
7
for the
o'clock.
town.
We've given you about an hour.
So just know that we are listening and we are hearing you, and we are trying to make the best decision for the town. For whatever level of decision-making we actually have, which feels pretty minimal in this entire endeavor.
Seems like it's being shoved down.
It's, so we are trying, and that's okay to feel that way. That's totally fine. And so as a board, we can sit down and synthesize and come up with our board statement. We have not done that. We hope to get that done, and now we just have to find a day where all three of us can sit down and meet and stick with the DRB and with the attorney, so that we can have one meeting to hear everything that the DRB has heard, so that they can brief us, so that we can have a conversation with each other and take our council's advice, so that we are making, it would be really, really irresponsible of us to just flat out say, I'm for this or I'm against it, without having as much information as we can get. We have not had the chance to do that yet.
Yes, Sean.
I think two things. I think your design review board has already shared with you their position by their vote last week. So that's input that's needed, correct? They felt as though
they shared with us that basically they are saying they are not opening up their enhanced energy plan. That's all they
It
said.
doesn't say anything about the solar project itself, and yes, we know that they don't wanna reopen the enhanced energy plan, but I think there's more to the conversation than that, but keep going.
Okay.
Yes,
Well, one other clarifying point, and Reed, maybe you can help me answer this. I heard the chair mention that 150 acres of the project is in our preferred solar array. It's my understanding it's only about 50 acres that is in that preferred zone, not half of the project. That's a significant difference.
well, Sean, exactly. I don't have all these facts in front of me, and I apologize.
Then
if I'm
it's not the right thing to share facts when you don't have them. When when you're telling people that 50% of it is in our plan and 50% is not, that's not factually correct, and that's very important information that's germane to everyone's thoughts that are sitting here, right?
Well, again, you can go back and look at all the information that is out there. You can look on the website, you can gather that information. And if I misspoke, I apologize. There's a lot of information out there. And if I made a mistake, I'm sorry I made a mistake.
And I think with last time I looked at the map, which Sharon was gracious enough to share with me, which just made it so I didn't have to go looking for it. I thought I saw it was like 168 and 132 was the last time I looked at it.
It's
So
51.7 in the energy plan and 168 outside of the energy plan.
Again, we're looking at little maps about the size of 4x4. I don't want to look at a
Information
little-
is king. I'll say it again.
And
And
again,
accurate information.
Sean, if I'm looking at a tiny map, I don't know exactly where it is. I would like to look at what it really is. And, you know, I'm sorry if you're upset with us. Again, we're really bending over backwards for you and everybody
we
here
are trying to
listen
understand
to you.
this.
But to berate us for making a mistake is really just like, come on, dude.
I'm not
a big-
berating you, sir. That's a big mistake.
Oh, you know what, Sean? Thank
It's-
you. We're moving on.
We just don't have.
We've let you speak a lot. You know
Potential.
what? I'm not gonna sit here and
Get
get,
it. And your smugness has not been overlooked either, sir.
oh, you know what? Really, from somebody sitting
We
in
are
Florida. Thank
trying
you.
to do our best for the town. And we have stated multiple times, and if we misspoke about the quantity of acres, it's because we don't have the maps in front of us. But we have
Yeah.
said multiple times, we have not had the opportunity to sit together as a board, and we are still allowing public comment because it's important, even though we are not together as a board yet. And I think it's really quite disingenuous to accuse us of all the mistakes that we're making.
And even
Okay,
after
hang
we,
on, hang on.
after
hang
we
on,
apologize.
Hang on,
It wasn't.
hang on.
Yeah.
It's not,
Smug
it's really,
yourself,
it's,
sure.
okay, stop it. Stop it. So, it's very
Yeah.
hard to, it's very hard to continue to say, please come and we want to listen to you. When we keep repeating, we are trying to set up a meeting where we can get together and get all the information in one place, all hearing it at the same time. And do I agree facts are important? 100%. 100%. But we're trying to pull all the facts together and make sure that when we come together as a board, we are stating the facts and we are stating the facts and we are also then creating what we believe to be best for the town. We sat here the last 3 meetings and had people pretty hammer on us pretty hard. And I think that we really do want people to participate. Please remember that we live here too. Whether we're stating it in public or not, doesn't have anything to do with whether or not we think it's a good idea or a bad idea, because we're not sitting here as citizens, we're sitting here as select board members first in this capacity. So just please understand that we are trying to gather information from all sides so that we can try to provide the best path forward for the town. It makes it hard to want to come and sit and do this work when we feel like we're targets. And maybe we signed up
I'm
for
not
that, but
targeting, I'm just saying, you can't make an offhanded statement such as it's 150. And
Okay,
then,
so-
and then just let that fly, and then be upset
It's
with me
okay that we-
because I
But
bring
it's
it.
okay that, it's okay that you're upset by that, but it's also okay that we made a
Upset.
mistake. It's also okay that we made a mistake. Because we've clarified multiple times that we don't have all the information in front of us yet. We haven't had a chance to have that conversation, and we misspoke. That's all, and we're
Okay.
sorry. Don't have a date yet. That's what we're trying to work on, because we have to talk to the DRB, our council, and
Yes.
get the three of us
I have another
together.
question that I think many other people want to know the answer to, that I'm sorry if I had missed it. What were your choices for an attorney, and why did you pick an attorney that usually represents solar farms?
Because our attorney that initially helped us with the Green Mountain Solar Field, Ben Marks, has helped us many times and many things with energy enhancements. He goes, I can't do this for you. I'm occupied and it would be a problem for me legally. Okay, I go, can you? So other than going through the yellow pages, looking for an attorney, I go, who would you recommend and who do you think would be perfect for Cornwall? He goes, I would hire this one. I go, you like her a lot? She goes, she's excellent. She's phenomenal. She usually represents the corporations to build these things.
Which, that concerns me. The rest
Well,
of your vetting, no, but that concerns me.
It actually, that means she knows the ropes.
And she knows the game.
And she knows the
It
game.
can, yeah.
Well, and that's what,
And you're
that's-
comfortable with.
But we're comfortable with his recommendation because he worked well for us before.
Okay,
Yeah.
see, I'm sure people want to know that.
Yeah.
Um,
And again, there's not a lot of energy attorneys saying, pick me. So we're picking somebody.
And she's
That's
local.
recommended.
She lives in Shore.
Yeah, okay. The other thing is I wanted to comment on the meeting that was held here on June 12th, that many people couldn't attend because it was during graduation week, after the high school week, and it was during the elementary school graduation week, which they were told. So don't feel like it's not, it wasn't a lack of interest or whatever. There was reasons why people didn't attend. And I found it to be a lot of propaganda compared to the other question and answer session. In fact, it was a bit misleading because they actually had a table that said it was the Audubon. They used the Audubon logo and had a bunch of plants there, but it wasn't. It was the environmental consultants that they paid. So it was just, I feel like it was sort of a bit one-sided, and that's all I want to say on that. Because you weren't there, right?
I was not there.
Yeah, so it was a little bit misleading.
It was my birthday and I wanted to spend my time with my wife.
Fine, yes, that's great. I just wanted to tell you
That's
that,
okay.
to get some feedback, because there was feedback on the lack of attendance. I wanted to address.
And the other one I
Thank you.
missed because I was out of the country. So I apologize
I'm
for
glad you
that
had a
too.
good vacation. Yeah.
Whatever
so-
I was doing.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, right, whatever. Could have been kidney surgery or something.
Yes,
Okay, so,
Sharon.
okay, this is
Yeah.
gonna be the last one, I think.
Yes, because it's 7:13 and we
yeah.
still have a lot of business to do. You have something new for us, Sharon?
Yes. I wanted to just correct a couple of things really quick. The one thing was the split. You see how there's the 51 acres that's
I
inside the
can't see
plan?
that. It's on your phone and I'm not going to look at it that way, Sharon.
There it is, right there.
Yep.
51 acres inside the plan, okay? The rest of it is way outside the plan and this would be less, much less visible, okay? What they're proposing is gonna open up that whole area out there and it's gonna be completely visible to everybody around, okay? I'm just
In
making
your
that,
opinion, yes.
yeah, well, not just in my opinion,
Well, since you're sitting here talking to us, yes, it is your
No,
opinion.
stop,
along with a lot of other people.
stop it.
Move on, Sharon, or move off.
I wanted to mention the distance that they're trying to go with this transmission line is 5.8 miles.
Okay.
Everything that I have read from other solar companies' websites is 5 miles is the limit. They like to go 2. I'm just making a point of that.
You should
That's
call
what
and
I
tell
read.
their engineer that.
Maybe I will.
Good. Anything else?
Yes. couple of corrections. The May 22nd meeting was not really a question and answer period. We were told repeatedly that there would be no answers, that they were just taking questions. And a number of people at that meeting mentioned that the June 12th meeting, they requested that that date be changed because of the last week of school, and a lot of people would be unable to make it. They told us that they would look at it and, you know, let us know. Well, 2 or 3 days before the meeting, I called their number that is available on that sheet and asked if they had changed the date, because I wanted to notify people. A lot of people were still anticipating that the date would be changed. And they said, no, we checked into it, we didn't find any conflict, and so we're still holding it. And so that is why people were not there, not because they didn't have interest. Okay, I just want to make that clear.
Thank you.
Then the other thing I wanted to, yeah, this is curious to me. Why are the landowners not being talked about? I mean, this 2018 map, that's Worstville property.
I don't know that.
You have to talk, well, you have to talk to the Worstville's.
Okay.
They don't have to tell us what they wanted, if they're looking ways to develop their property.
What to
Okay,
do.
well, I mean, yeah, that is what that is. I mean, you can check it in the land records. There was a lease option agreement
And
recorded
again,
Okay.
why would I do
with them.
that?
Just curious.
I'm not.
And then, so then they changed it. I guess they were told no way. And then they changed it. I mean, this was way outside of where they had two two areas that they were looking at, David Raphael and the Regional Planning Commission. They were looking at Slane Road. The other area they were looking at was Allen Road. I do not know why they decided on Slane Road. It doesn't give me that information anywhere, but that decided on.
Mhm.
And so it went back and forth between the Regional Planning Commission and David Raphael, back and forth, and that's how it got written. Initially, it was Adam, and then it got turned over to Andrew, and then it went back and forth. It happened over 6 or 7 months before it was finally ready. Okay, and then the Planning Commission voted on it, and then they sent it to the Select Board, and then it got voted through, and that's how it all came down. But anyway, the second, once they moved it over here, it's still not within the contained area. It's still not within the hidden area that they thought was best for hiding, if you will, a solar field of this size. And I think that was one of the main issues with it. They didn't want it to be all out here and all visible to, you know, everybody else, everybody that drove around Vermont, the tourists and everything that came up here. And if you look at the maps, the amount of wetlands out there is rather alarming in the way that they're trying to weave in these panels into the wetlands.
And I think one place, and like I think I stated last meeting, one of the places, I think if you really want to go and have a conversation about all of that, like one of my concerns is how close it is to Dead Creek.
Yeah, that's
right.
my-
So let's call Department of Fish and Wildlife, environmental conservation.
I'm talking with them.
Right, so great, so then those are the people that have the knowledge to be able to say if there's gonna be any sort of environmental impact, whether it's gonna be deal with migration, whether it's creek and pollution, whether it's any of those things, and those are people who will all must be consulted before any of this goes through, because it's so close to the wetlands.
Right. Okay, so that's all I have to say on that for now. The other thing is, the other correction, when you're saying that the hiring of the attorney and the escrow agreement were discussed in the meeting, they were discussed in executive session. We didn't hear any details about any.
You're not going to hear. any
We're not,
details.
those
We're not
are
gonna
things
talk
that
to
we
you
have,
about what
we
do in
have
our
to do some of
executive
these things
session.
in executive session.
What
I
happened?
know that.
So then what's the?
They said it was discussed openly in the meeting. It was not. It wasn't discussed openly in the meeting.
Documented on the agendas and in the minutes.
The concept was introduced at a DRB meeting on March 14th by the DRB. That's where the concept was.
And not in the minutes.
Okay.
They did, the DRB did ask.
Well, if you were there, I assure you.
I was.
I assure you.
Okay.
Okay, we're not getting into anything else, Sharon.
Okay,
Okay,
Thank
great,
you.
thanks for all your help.
okay, so.
Anything from anyone else? Now, we've been on this for almost
Close,
an
pushing
hour and a half. Go ahead. And this was going to be 10 minutes. I just want you to
I
understand
think
that.
we should do the 2 minutes per person thing at this point.
Next time we
Please,
definitely will.
Yeah, my name is Chuck Strona.
Okay,
Hi, Chuck.
thank you for
Yeah,
coming.
We just came from California on a vacation, and the people over there were my hometown, that area, has the same kind of situation going on, that the vast majority of people in town don't want something to happen, but the select board has dug in their feet and refuses to listen to the vast majority of the people. And we were talking about it, and they came to the conclusion that if the select board that is elected by the people in town, if they aren't carrying out the will of the people in the town, maybe they should just resign and let people who will carry out the will of the people serve them.
Okay,
Are you asking us to resign?
are you asking us to resign?
that?
Are you
You're
asking us to resign?
Like I said, I have very poor hearing, and
Well, are you asking us to resign?
one more time, I'm
Are
sorry.
you asking us to resign?
I'm not sure what you're saying.
He signs.
Okay, good.
He's asking you if you want him to leave, resign.
No,
Because that's what you just said.
what I'm saying is start carrying out the will of the people, okay? And what's in the best interest of the people. And if you aren't gonna do that, then yes, you can leave. You can all leave if you aren't gonna do that,
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
okay?
Yes, last one. Anyone else?
Last one.
I just want to make sure everybody said they were heard.
Well, what's the reason for that statement?
We've let multiple people go multiple times. We said we were gonna spend 10 minutes on it, and we are
Then
now
end
pushing.
it, then end it. You don't need to have those condescending statements.
Sullivan,
I mean,
I
that's
appreciate you
unbelievable.
being here, but it's just, please.
Well,
we're
I won't
just
allow
ready-
that. That behavior is not becoming of a board. To talk down to its citizens like that.
Hey Kathy, what can we do for you?
Yes.
I would like to recommend
Yeah.
that the select board go on the town's website and look at the solar proposal information that is listed on it, and that the town pay to have a large map made of the solar field, not only for the select board to look at, but for townspeople to
That is
look
a
at.
great
And
idea,
you can also enlarge the map on your computer as well.
right? And again, I agree, we are going to get together, we are going to do that. I think making a large map to post in town hall is a fantastic idea. Maybe we'll get 2 done and put one over on Jackson Road. I think that's a fantastic idea to blow it up. I think that's a great idea. Thank you.
Yep. Is there anybody else who'd like to make a comment?
Just a quick one. We'd be happy to volunteer to make those and bring them downtown, bring them to you.
Thank you, Reed.
We already got them. And
Thank you.
Bring you the visual simulations.
That would be
That would be amazing.
very beneficial. Thank you. Again,
You'll have them later this week.
Perfect. Thank you so
super.
much.
Again, I'm asking anybody else would like to speak?
Okay, so moving on, we
right,
have other
we're-
communications.
We are closing
Public
public
comment.
comment.
In today's mail, we received an application from GMP on a hydro project in Virgins. It's just what happens when people apply for permits. and
Right.
Towns get notified, so here it is, and I'm
Okay.
gonna put it downstairs if anyone wants to come read it.
All right.
So they're looking to do a hydro project?
Yeah.
Is
and I
that
don't
in
know if there's
Virginia?
any- Yeah, I don't know
Okay.
anything else about it.
Okay, great, thank you.
Hawkins sent us a quote for the memory upgrade for this Zoom computer, and it looks like it would be $195. Okay with that?
Yep.
Certainly within our general budget. Tim Cowan has supplied scope of work, it was in your folder, this is with regard to the Addison County Regional Planning Commission's grant of $10,000 each to both Canton and Virgins to study the boundaries issue. Don't know if you want a chance to review that more, if you want to accept that scope.
Can we take this, put it on for next week, and I can take it home and read it? That would be
Yeah.
great. Put it on in 2 weeks, so we can actually read it and come back and have a conversation about it.
Yeah. That was the energy where Panton is saying that the boundaries are smaller than they should be, and they should be expanded, so more areas of Panton. When the boundaries should be expanded for Panton and shrunk for Virginia.
It seems that over the course of time, that Virgins has encroached into Panton by a couple hundred acres or something
Yeah,
like
more than
that,
that.
which would change
And it's-
tax base and
it's tax dollars, like
and we go going.
country homes would be actually in Panton, and it would go, pardon me? And also, it would go all the way up to approximately the ambulance station. So all those buildings in there, and then probably a little bit into the cemetery, and then it would go right to the creek. So it would pick up quite a few homes. So that's exactly what the charter was, and what we're saying, we should follow the charter.
It's just kind of shifted over the years, because it wasn't, well, we've dealt with a lot of things where it's this many links on the chain to that, that elm tree.
I think the select board has a big say in this, and you're gonna have to make a recommendation. Remember, Vermont, we're not just Cantonites here, and we're possibly setting a precedent.
I understand that, John. I also just want to state that we're talking about the communications on the town, the Virgins Panton expansion study that's gone on here, so we're not talking about the solar field anymore.
I wanted you to just keep in mind.
Oh, yeah.
Because you have a decision to make as a board.
Right.
Your recommendation to the public utility.
Of course.
Yes,
Okay.
we're doing the best we can.
Anything else for communications?
Shall we
Okay.
move on to
Accounts
accounts
payable.
payable?
Here's the warrant and all the invoices.
Okay, let's check those
All right. Oh, it's good times here.
out. We'll do that.
Thank you, everybody, for coming.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you for being on check.
Well,
I second that.
thank you.
Thanks.
You
I'll
know.
see you Wednesday.
Yeah. Many are called, few are chosen.
I love it.
We'll need a beer on Wednesday night.
No, I kinda need one now. I might go outside for you. You wanna go out now? Afterwards, I can wait for you.
I'm not done yet.
I know.
I wish I
You
was.
didn't bring any with you?
No, that's why we should have a cooler under the table.
Yeah.
I can go Wednesday, but I have some. Okay. I'll see you then.
Yeah, I've missed the Strawberry Festival now.
Oh,
I think, I don't know. I gotta try to
maybe.
figure that out.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Bruce?
See ya.
All right, have a good time there.
Did you see what Zach sent us? He's like, I owe you all a beer.
Okay, let us move on to.
All right, I need to. Most of the time I would say yes. today, though. Hey, good.
Donna
Anything in
Oliver,
here that,
our Donna.
and yeah, anything in here that caused you to
No,
pause?
no.
Okay.
Okay,
I'm excited about the equipment fund. I am.
what are you excited about the equipment fund? Tell me quick.
Well, the getting 110,000.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
to
yeah,
offset
yeah.
the cost of the financing.
Yeah, I wonder what that saving us.
3.19% per year on $227,000. We still have to do the math.
That's a lot.
Okay. Was it 5%?
5.19 is our community bank note, and this one is 2%.
That's
It's not
amazing.
the whole amount, but.
That's a
Well,
lot of
they only-
money.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
That's a lot of it. That's a lot of money.
Okay,
Okay.
good.
Yeah.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the accounts payable, timesheets, payroll, and warrants.
I will second that. All in favor?
Aye. Okay, now, I'd like to make a motion to move in the executive session to talk about audit, annual staff performance reviews, and legal actions.
So Sean and Noreen, thanks for coming. We're gonna slide into executive session now. I will second that.
I am all in favor. Aye.
Aye, at 7:31. Okay. And I think. those
Zach,
are
are you
both-
there, or brother? Who's this guy on the
I
phone?
think it's both. 578.
Can you get rid of him? Or-